local stories here in the greater Cincinnati area. Also, I want to talk about some of the more impactful and interesting moments in terms of being Black in America. I want to talk about the year in culture, the year in music, the year in movies. I want to talk about a lot. And to do that, it's going to take multiple days. I will not be able to get it all in one day. It's just not going to happen. But wherever you are, I hope that my voice is finding you in a good place. What's up with my early risers? What's up, early risers? Yeah, early risers rule the world. You got to get up early to get ahead of the competition. While you're sleeping and slumbering and dreaming or nightmaring or whatever the term is, your competition's out here getting ahead. Got to get up early. Early risers rule the world. Early risers and short men rule the world. That's the way it is. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, you might think, damn, I want to get a call on this particular topic. I have an opinion. You can do so pretty easily at 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Look at this pendant right here. Look at this. My daughter got me this. It reads something really dope. It's like a message from my daughter to her father. So you'll be seeing me wear this a lot, very, very proudly. You know what I'm saying? Medium Buddha taking care of her pops, loving her dad. Good morning to you. What's up, everybody? Good morning. What's up, Regina? Good morning. Listen, let's take a second to like and in particular share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it. As a matter of fact, let me make sure I do the same thing. I want to make sure everybody hears today's show. It's that important. Good morning to you. I wasn't with you yesterday, but I know Who Dey Nation is going crazy. There it is. I know Who Dey Nation went crazy yesterday. I really wasn't tapped into social media at all. I had some other things going on. Yeah. Somebody's like, what is that? Yeah, there it is. Black Voices Matter. There we go. Black Voices Matter. You can actually purchase that if you're interested. Just let me know. But because Black voices certainly do matter. And I would even say that this was the year of Black voices in a lot of ways, because you had two major things happen to really had multiple things happen. But on a national level, you had two things happen that are, pushing Black voices to the forefront and pushing, Black issues, Black concerns, Black intelligence, Black creativity, all to the forefront. We'll talk about it though. Let me throw my number up on the screen. You may want to give us a call this morning. You might be like, nah, I'm gonna sit this one out, Nate. I'm gonna let you do the heavy lifting, which I got big, broad shoulders. I can handle it. It's no problem. 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts this morning. And here's Junior. What's up, Junior? My son needs to talk to me about something real quick. Hold on. You won't believe what he just said. You won't believe it. We had to huddle up, man. It is what it is. I'll be honest with you. I never anticipated on getting married because I never saw the usefulness of it. I never anticipated on having children. Now I'm married and I have children, and I couldn't be happier. That little boy is everything to me. I can't express enough to you. And being a parent is, man, it comes with a lot of frustration sometimes, right? I see all my friends, or not a lot, all my friends, but I see some Facebook friends and they're living their best lives with empty nesters. And I hope to be there one day. But I'm enjoying where I am right now. I wouldn't give up being that little boy's father and being in the situation I am for anything in the world. There's no empty nest that's better than what I have right now. So I may tell you later what he said. He is hilarious. He said, what about other people's lives? White people's lives matter too. Everybody's lives matter. He's such a sweet little boy, isn't he? Such a sweet little boy. Oh my God. How do we get so blessed? but it is what it is. Good morning to you. 513. He literally tapped me on the shoulder during the show and just said that to me. We had a little conference. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Ashley is on Spreaker and she writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ashley. Thank you for being here. Again, please like and share today's show. Like the show, share the show. When you like and share the show, quite frankly, more people see it. More people see it. I can't express enough how important that is, especially on Facebook. That's where it's the most important because Facebook is doing a whole bunch of goobly god. They just sent me another message in the friends who like the Nathan Ivey Show group, talking about somebody posted something that was misinformation or fact checker said that it was inaccurate. I went back to what it was. It was something innocuous. I think is the right word. Something small and petty. I'm like, really, Facebook? I'll say it again. Y'all go through all this nonsense and y'all let Trump do and say whatever he wants to say. And now people post stuff that's like just small, no impact whatsoever. And there it is. King Rice morning. Don't forget to Kwanzaa in your agenda of topics this week, my guy. Happy Kwanzaa, black people. You know what? I'm not against Kwanzaa. I'll be honest with you. I've celebrated it in the past, but it's not something that I do on a regular basis. But I'm pro Kwanzaa. I'm pro Kwanzaa, even though I don't participate in it. Like we're not doing it this year. I'm pro Kwanzaa because I think it's positive. On Straight Talk, Edna Howe did a show on Kwanzaa talking about, she believes that the principles of Kwanzaa are bigger than just black folks, and I agree with her. Andrea writes, Nate, I can't read and drive at the same time, buddy. Okay, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Tanika writes, I feel you, Nate. I love being a mom to my sweet genius, as you call her. LOL. She doesn't ever have to leave, right? Like, can you believe that Medium Buddha is 16? Can you believe this? Like, literally, as we end this school year, she's ending her 11th grade year. Next year, she's graduating. And I don't know what we did, but this little girl cannot wait to leave the nest. 18, I'm gone. 18, I'm gone. We keep looking at her like, okay. And it's bittersweet. On one hand, I'm like, yeah, go ahead and spread your wings. You know what I'm saying? On the other hand, is because we still got Junior. So we still got a kid in the house. So it ain't no big deal. But we'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes. Good morning. I wouldn't change a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Good morning, writes. Oh, right. Thank you for that. Appreciate it, Restream. Regina writes, good morning, fam. What's going on? Oh, it's a lot going on. I'll get to it. Today's show is going to be a mixture of current events and also looking back to the year that was in 2021. And I remember where we were at this time. A year ago at this time, you know what the big story was locally? A year ago today, at this particular time in late December going into early January, some of the biggest concerns that we have were about COVID and how it was going to impact the schools and what Cincinnati Public Schools was going to do. That's what all the conversation was about, or a lot of the conversation. A lot of the focus was on that. And I'm reading now that we've gone a year later and the numbers of COVID are higher than they've ever been before in Ohio. But I read this morning that the school systems in Ohio, and especially here in Hamilton County, are not planning on any changes. So they are committed to this. Like, if you get sick, you get sick. Yeah. It seems like what the attitude is go get tested, and we just gonna have to deal with this no matter what. I want to bring a movie to your attention because I think it's kind of interesting, and I like these kind of movies if they're done well. There's a movie called Don't Look Up. It's a comedy disaster movie. It's on Netflix right now. You may have seen it before. It's called Don't Look Up. Have you seen this before? Let me see if I can find the cover for it. You got to. I'm not gonna say you got to see it because I think that it depends on what kind of genres of movies and stuff you like. But if you're into this kind of stuff, it's kind of interesting because it's commentary about the world that we live in. So in the movie, you've got two scientists, and I'm gonna make this make sense in a second, but here it is right here. in the movie, you have two scientists that there it is. See that right there? You got two scientists that they find that a based on truly possible events. That's hilarious. You have two scientists who find out that a comet, COMET, a comet, a celestial body, is on a collision course with the earth. And we've heard this before, right? It's a lot of movies like that. I can't remember any of them right now, but there's a lot of movies like that, disaster, end of the world movies. I think we like these kind of movies as human beings because it keeps us in touch with our humanity or something like that. I'm not sure. We just like to be afraid of things that are naturally occurring or something. I don't know. Haley's Comet might kill everybody one day, but this movie is a comedy, a disaster comedy, which sounds like a bad mix, right? So you have these two scientists that find out that a comet is on a collision course with the Earth. And after doing their analysis, what they find out is that it's an extinction level event. Like when the comet hits Earth, it's going to just destroy everything. Everybody's going to die. So what do? They tell everybody. They tell the military. They tell the government. They go on television. They go on the internet. And what they find is that human beings are so caught up in their own narcissism, on their own daily lives, and their own magnificence that they don't even pay attention to it. And when they talk to the politicians politicize it. Like literally, it becomes a political issue. And it's great commentary about the world that we live in because that could very well happen today. Like the Democrats and Republicans are so polarized right now. Like there are parts of, I'm just speaking about the United States. There's parts of this country that's so polarized right now that if there was an extraterrestrial threat to the world, that a significant portion of the population would even believe it. And if you say, well, Nate, that wouldn't happen, look at COVID. Look at COVID. It's the same thing. Like COVID, nobody can deny that COVID is real, but there's people out here that still believe that it's not. There's people out here believing all kind of conspiracies. And it's very, very interesting the way that they did it, and they even had like some Donald Trump-esque presidential sort of moments. You check it out. I'm not saying that it's the greatest movie ever. Is it worth your time? If you're into those kind of movies, it's worth your time. If it's not, it's hit or miss. It's up to you. I'm not saying it's got the best acting in it, so don't go watch it and say, Nate, you wasted my time. I'm telling you up front, I thought it was entertaining just because I'm into that kind of stuff. And I can see some parallels between that and the world that we live in right now. Yeah. If there was a major threat to the lives of every American citizen, you would have some people out there arguing that it was all made up, right? And depending on who those voices were, they could get a crowd behind them. It's very, very sad. Very, very sad. Good morning to you. Kev on the Sellers here. He writes, good morning, family. Today's show is brought up. Wait. Brought to you by the letter G in the word bag. Get it and give it. Let's go. Okay. The Brent Spence Bridge caught on fire. That's right. That's right. Cruther writes, I watched Don't Look Up over the weekend. What'd you think about it? What'd you think about that? I'm very curious. What'd you think about that? Good morning to you, Pamela. She writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning. We got Ashley, Pamela, and Sharp. Now, if you're on TuneIn, don't think that I've forgotten about you. I have not. I know that you are there, and I appreciate you tapping in because I see the numbers. Appreciate you. I'm never on TuneIn. And maybe in 2022, I say this maybe every single year, will spend more time there, but I don't know. Thank you so much for the share, Jesse. Please share the show. It means everything. Means everything. Thank you so much. What's up, Deborah? What's up, Kelly's on YouTube? Good morning, Kelly. Good to see everybody. Real quick, I'm just going to give my Bengal friends some love. I was just talking with a friend of mine the other day. He's a big Bengal fan. I got family members and friends that's really into it. I really do it for you. For me, sports across the board is just mindless disengagement. It makes no difference to me either way because I'm not getting a check. At this point in my life, I don't really, if I ain't getting a check out of it, I'm like, I don't really care that much. But I have watched more of the Bengals this year just because I can see a different energy. They had a big game against the Ravens. They should have beat the Ravens, number one, because the Ravens, due to COVID protocols, had a lot of their starters out. But if you don't know, they won 41-21. But the big news is Joe Burrow. He passed for more yards than almost anybody in NFL history in one game. He's like number 4 in terms of the yards passed for. I think it's like 525 yards. Now, I looked it up because I was curious. I think the record is 400 and it's 550. And I'm like, you only need 25 more yards, man. Go out there and get them yards. I didn't watch the entire game. I watched the highlights, so I don't know if they took him out the game later or not. But that's me. Let me get this record real quick. So I know Bengal fans are going crazy. Looks like the Bengals got a shot at going. Well, they own their own destiny. All they got to do is win one of the last 2 games, and they'll be the AFC North champions. That means they're going to the playoffs. So we'll see what they do. Something to watch. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to this game coming up, the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, that's right, on Friday. Alabama versus UC. I want to see UC win that. You already know it. Cruther writes, I agree. It does remind of current events. Thank you, Cruther. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I knew it wasn't just me. I knew it wasn't crazy. Yeah, you watch that movie, Don't Look Up, man. It's commentary about our political system, about our social structure, what we value, our media, our government, and how partisan and polarized we are right now. People can't even agree on small things. Like, we can't agree on things that everybody usually agrees on. If there was some type of existential threat or extraterrestrial threat, not meaning it's aliens, but coming from the cosmos or something like that, we would fumble the bag. We will fumble the bag completely. Good morning to you. Again, if you want to share your thoughts, I know it's early, but I throw it out to you. 513-873-7134. Again, that's my number. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I am here to receive it. So let me go back. A year ago, the big conversation on this particular show that we were having a lot of talk about at this particular time was COVID-19 and how it was going to impact the school systems. And here we are a year later, we've been dealing with it. And it appears that, that's just what it is. We're going to have to do 2 things at one time. Learn how to deal with COVID while going back to normal at the same time. But let me take an early phone call. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. Kev on the cell.
What up,
How
Kev?
you, bro?
Good morning to you.
Trying to make it, man. I'm in the midst of some family stuff that's happening. My pops is not looking so good, so that's my bad on the fast fingers. I was at the light, trying to text before the light changed. Yeah, we need to get and give the back. So my parents came here, man, from another country with not a lot of money, right? I always tell everybody that they built up enough that they were able to get 3 of their kids to college and get us all graduated. They were able to purchase their home, own it, and then that's allowed them to live a pretty good life. You know what I mean? And so now we're in that stage of, how do you continue to get and give that bag? I'm gonna continue on this, Nate. We're going into 2022, bruh, and I want to see everybody start focusing on getting and giving the bag. There is no negative connotation to it. So if anybody out there that, the kids, they say that this is bad thing. This is a good thing. We're going to figure out how to pass wealth on to the next generation, bro. I know that you yourself are a person that is all for that. So, every once in a while, I'm going to chime in with a little nugget. Today's nugget is I saw something on online. They were talking about crypto and then also talking about gold and silver. Gold has an up and down, value, but it's something worth looking at. I think it's actually down a little bit now from historic highs. So this is a good place to potentially put funds. And then a good one, but it's kind of expensive. Right now for a play, PayPal is at a 52-year low. So it might be an opportunity to invest. Definitely do your due diligence. I'm some dude on Nathan Ivey Show. You know what I mean? And I'm not spending your money. So I will 100%, do my due diligence to make sure that I'm doing well. But bruh, it's 2022, man, coming up, and so I want to share with you, man, my goals for the new year, man. First things first, right? I am going to help at least one other person, whether it be within my family or or outside my family circle, to get and achieve a goal. That is a goal for me to
Any
help
goal?
one person. I don't care what it is, bro. I'm gonna help one person to hit a goal, and I don't care what the goal is. That is my goal.
That's your goal.
I think self determination, right? Coochie chocolate. I think that's where we're at as far as Kwanzaa goes. And so the way we determine ourselves, the way we make sure we move ourselves forward, is uh, that we plan to be as a family moving forward. Not dream. I don't believe in dreams, but our goal is to move forward as a family. Uh, Last thing, man. Who they, bruh? Who they? To all my haters out there, I've been a Bengals fan for a very long time, and everybody trying to like drown my. Well, I almost cut. They're trying to they trying to ground my goodness right now, man. No, sir. Them Ravens, they took that L. I don't care. When our team was decimated, everybody was like, "Well, you play with the team you got. You play with the team you got." Well, they played with the team they got shook up. First time since 2009, I think, that we beat, swept both the both the Ravens and the Steelers in the same season, and we never won. At least for right now, I'm standing on all that, bro. And I'm like you. I really don't care about all this mindless dribble, to be real. But we gonna get the bag. We gonna get the bag, family. Stay blessed.
All right, appreciate the call. That's Kev on the cell. You know what, Kev? I mean, just for your own liability, I would add some constraints to that. You said any goal. I don't know about, man. Some people out there with some weird goals. You might not want to be a part of that, bro. You might not want to be a part of it. Let's talk a little controversy. This is some current events. Like I said, I'm going to jump back and forth between current events, things that are happening right now, the latest outraged or the latest innovations or things you just should know. And looking back at the year that was 2021 and drawing some parallels between things that are happening now and things that we discussed over the last year. Okay. Take a look at this right here and tell me if you are outraged by this. Take a look at that and tell me if you are outraged. Is anything about that seems outrageous to you? This painting was hanging at a Christian university. The title of the painting is Mama. Mama. And it's caused some controversy at the Catholic University of American in Washington, D.C. And the painting's title is a reference to one of George Floyd's tragic last words as he died under the knee of ex-police officer and race soldier Derek Chauvin. Yeah, I add that little race soldier bit. And this piece has raised eyebrows and drawn scorn from some at the Catholic University of America, again in Washington, D.C., where it is displayed outside of the Columbus School of Law's Mary Mirror of Justice Chapel. Apparently, it's been there most of the year, though. And it was put there first in February. It was stolen and then replaced in November. And the creator has received hate mail and death threats from around the world. From around the world, family, because of this. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the latest outrage. You know me. I want to get your thoughts about this. Do you see anything or have you heard anything particularly outrageous? Are you outraged? Any Catholics in the audience? I want to talk to some Catholics because maybe it's a Catholic thing. I don't know. If you know anybody who's Catholic, then let them know about the show. Tag them on the show and tell them we're talking about this at least for the next little bit of time here. Check that out. That's called Mama. And if you remember, though George Floyd, that's one of the last things that George Floyd said. He called out for his mama, which just makes my blood boil all over again. I mean, that's the universal sign that you give up. You know, you get into an altercation with another human being and you get the best of them and they scream out for their mama. I mean, just think about how primal that is. Just think about that for a second. I mean, George Floyd is in the last moments of his life, and he just, in a very primal, just basic way, cries out uh, for the woman that probably loved him more than anybody else, for the vessel that brought him into this world. So as he's leaving this world, he's crying out for the woman that helped bring him into this world, crying out for his mama. And so an artist made this painting, and again, I'll say it depicts George Floyd um in the arms of, I believe that's the Virgin Mary, I believe. And I believe these kind of scenes are familiar and also sacred to Catholic folks, to devout Catholics in particular. The artist is Kelly Lattimore, and it depicts the Holy Mother as a black woman. And instead of the body of Jesus, it's got the likeness of George Floyd. Um, People are saying that this is blasphemous. And before we go forward, I want to get your thoughts about this. Is this blasphemous? Is this offensive to you? Is there anything offensive about what you see there? I mean, keep it real with me. You know how we do. We keep it real here. As I said, the artist, a Kelly Lattimore, has received hate mail and death threats from around the world. And in an interview with the artist Kelly Lattimore, um, uh, uh, basically, uh, what the artist has said is that they believe that they see both George Floyd and Jesus. And I've looked at some of the other works from this particular artist. It is a male, by the way, just so you know. And again, just take a look at it and tell me what you think. Is that anything that you feel is there something there that you think is that blasphemous? Like, is it wrong to, because that's like a really, I do know I'm not Catholic. Like on my father's side, my father was Catholic, and my grandmother, mother of my father, who's now passed away, she was Catholic. They were Catholic folks. And so when I was with them, I would get that Catholic size of it. So I know that you got a lot of black Catholic people out there. And I know that these kind of images are very sacred to Catholic people. But I also know that art should be giving a license, even with sacred images. You know, if art don't make you think and don't make you feel something, then, what's the point of it? Now, I'm not Catholic, so maybe that has something to do with how I feel about it, but I don't feel no ways about this. In fact, I understand it completely. I understand it 100% and completely. I think I just missed a call. Call me back. I'll put you straight on. Oh, okay. All right. I will do that. I will do that. But again, tell me what you think. Is there anything there? I was getting a message. Sorry about that. Is there anything there that you think is inherently disrespectful? I'd like to get your thoughts. Uh Kevin writes, I get to choose who and how I help Nathan Ivey. Weird ish need not apply. You need to tell people that, bro. Tanika writes, of course, this painting has caused controversy. Most people believe Jesus is white. Do you think that's what the controversy is? Because it depicts, instead of Jesus, it depicts George Floyd in the place of Jesus. Do you think that it's the color that people are caught up with? You think white Catholics are like, wait a minute, Jesus is white. The Holy Mother is white. Is that because that is that it? Huh. Well, that'd be a shame. Where's our allies at? Kenneth writes, good morning, family, basically. Marlon writes, it's obvious those who are offended haven't seen the Black Madonna and Child. Kenneth writes, everything calls from us. Kevin writes, no calls. It's a painting. Ain't nobody said Floyd was Jesus. Exactly. Yeah, but as you speak, somewhere in the world, people are outraged about this painting. I don't see the problem with it. I mean, especially, understanding just how big that story was. That whole story that started last year in 2020, you know, and then we culminated this year uh, with the conviction of Derek Chauvin, and I hope he burns in hell when he dies for what he did to George Floyd. But I get it, you know what I'm saying? And then the artist is also Kelly Lattimore. It's a male. Kelly Lattimore is also like very um well, let's say that people in the Black Lives Matter Black Lives Matter demonstrators in cities across the country held up copies of this. This was actually made last year. Okay, so this ain't something that's new. Who do you see? Who bears God's image? Kelly Lattimore lives and works in St. Louis, and he does a lot of work like this. And I like it. I like it because it makes people think. I've got no problem with it. But again, I'm not Catholic. If I was Catholic, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, come on, man. It's just like Kevin said, it's just a painting, but people are outraged. Again, do you see anything that is particularly, is this blasphemous? Like, this is against God. Just take a second, just take it all in. Again, if you're on the audio side of things, obviously you're not going to get a chance to see it because you're not looking at the video. If you want to, go on to YouTube, Nathan Ivey EY, you can watch it real quick. But I don't see a problem with it. Like, number one, I don't know whether Jesus was real or not. I don't really know. I know you got to have faith in things like that. I'm the kind of person you got to show me the proof. And I don't know the color, black and white. I don't know these things. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea. But in terms of just art, this is what art is supposed to do. It's supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to make you think, make you feel. And I think this does that. But what do you think? They were Arab. Kenneth writes, black woman and man is God. Let me see. Oh, and by the way, how are you Christian and giving death threats? That ain't Christ-like. This is the dumbest ish of 2022, right? How are you a person of God and you're giving death threats to somebody over a painting? Huh? But that's the world that we live in. I know I'm with Kevin a thousand points on this, or 1,000%. I'm with you, but that's the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? Hypocrisy is out the door. Hypocrite, what's that? No, hypocrites don't even, people say and do different things all the time. That's just normal these days. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm a Catholic. I love Jesus. I love the Lord. I'm about peace. But damn it, you have now created a painting that I don't like. So I'm going to send you a death threat. Tanika writes, it's just a painting of two black figures. Susan writes, I'm a Christian. I find it provocative. I find it to be provocative. Well, that's the other thing that good art is provocative. That is provocative right there. Leave this man alone. Black art matters. Let them do what they do. I'm with you 1,000%, Susan. It is provocative. That's the word I'm looking for this morning. It is provocative, very provocative. I got no problem with it. Would I have something like that in my home? I mean, yeah, maybe somewhere, maybe. You know what I'm saying? It's a little more religiosity, a little more religion-y than the kind of art I have in the house. But yeah, why not? I'm not against it. And again, if you're like, who is this? It's Kelly Lattimore. He's an iconographer. I think I know what that means. And you can find him online right now if you're interested in maybe buy some of his works and put them in your house. Who knows? Let me see. Good morning to you. Akeem writes, bump the hate from the world, turn that painting digital and auction off as NFTs. That's the new move right now. Everybody's doing NFTs. You're right. I could see that. That would be dope. That would be dope. Turn it into an NFT with limited copies, if not only one copy. I could see that for sure. Most def. Look at Akeem. Kenneth writes, that's a beautiful picture. I agree. Pamela writes, as most of us already know, many Christians are the biggest hypocrites there ever were. Yeah, I ain't trying to pick on my Christian folks, but you're right about that. And it's because of the way Christianity is set up. Like, Christianity is set up so you can do whatever you want to do and still get to heaven. You know what I'm saying? Now, I personally don't believe that because I don't see anywhere in the world the way the world works that way. So let me get this straight. You got one person who's a believer and they're disciplined and they abide by scripture and there's certain things they don't do. They go to heaven when they die, right? You got another person that's kind of wishy-washy and they committing sins, but they repent and they go to the same place in heaven. That's just something about that don't seem fair. Kenneth writes, our women been holding down a black man since the beginning till this day? Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Tanika writes, I find it to be a true depiction of Jesus and Mary. They big mad, LOL. Thank you, Tanika. Yeah, why can't this be the way the Holy Mother and Jesus, if you're into that kind of stuff, actually look? You know what I'm saying? That's the beginning of whitewashing. That's the beginning of cultural supremacy. It starts with your deity. That's just my opinion. Don't get me started on that. This is just one topic I got for you this morning, but I want to throw that out there and get your thoughts on it. To me, I don't see no problems with it. I detect no problems. I think it's provocative. I think it's beautiful even. I've got no problem with it whatsoever. None whatsoever. Again, 513-873-7134. I like it. I like it. I like it. 7134. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. I'll say it again. On today's show, I'll be talking about topics that are relevant and hot right now. And also looking back to the year that was 2021. So what I have done is I create a cover that typically, because sometimes I'll come up with a topic, then we get into the show and we go into a whole different, we go to the left or the right. But I have a file that has all of the cover art and the topic list that we did for the entire year. I was looking back over it for the last couple of days. And man, we cover a lot of ground on this show. We talked about a lot of stuff with a big focus on what's happening here locally. With a big focus. We spent a lot of time talking about local stuff, which was my intention. So I don't plan on changing that at any point during next year. But as I was looking at the topics, I thought, let me go to the audience. When I do this show, I do it for you. So I want to get your thoughts about as we look forward to 2022. Just real quick, man, you can post it in there. I'm paying attention to it right now. Like the kind of topics and or guests, more locally based, more nationally based. What's your flavor? What's your flavor for this particular show as we move forward into 2022 or for any of our shows? But in particular for this show, I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Are you more into the local topics? Are you more into the national topics? Do you like a polite blend, a mix? Hit me up with a thought. And if a thought don't come to you now, you can always hit me with direct message and I will respond. Kenneth writes, the black woman was the first and last, alpha and omega, period. I'm with you on all of that, brother. I'm with you on all of that. Maxine writes, great grand risings to all of the righteous seekers. Good morning to you, Maxine. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Absolutely. Good morning to you. What's on your mind? Not what's in your wallet. What's on your mind this morning? What's on your mind? I would love to hear it. At some point, I'm gonna switch gears here. So we talked about that. There's a few other things that I want to talk about, but also looking back to the year that was. And I'll be honest with you, this COVID thing is not going anywhere too soon. I'd say about 2 months into COVID, I realized that COVID isn't going anywhere because humans are worse than COVID. And this is going back to 2020. Like, remember when this all started? I'll never forget it. It was like early 2020, that first that first 3 to 4 months of 2020 when we really started to hit it. And I remember there were people in this show back in 2019 that were bringing up COVID. That was back when it was still like in China and other countries, right? People were like, nah, this is a real thing, Nate. It just took over. And we might have forgotten it, but here in the city of Cincinnati, we were all quarantined essentially for about 2, 3 weeks. Remember that? Yeah, travel restrictions, the whole 9 yards. And since then, it seems as if COVID has only gotten worse because we're just not disciplined and we don't give a damn enough about other people to really do anything about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But as I sit here right now, and I know people keep wondering, I don't see COVID going anywhere soon. I would think that COVID will still be a thing in 2024. Like when we get ready for the presidential election, COVID will still be a thing. And right now we're dealing with the Omicron variant, right? Who knows what the variant might be in 2024? I don't see it going anywhere soon. It's just too easy to get it. It's too easy to pass it. It's too easy to get it. And we're asking humans to do things that are very, very hard for us to do nowadays. It's very, very hard for us to do it nowadays. Hey, not getting notifications on Facebook or YouTube. Is that right, Fame? I don't know what's going on. I haven't changed anything on my end because why would I? I want you to get notification, right? I want you to know when we're live. So I don't know. Daryl's in the house. He writes, "Good morning, Nate and the Hella Choppers. Good morning to you. Good to see you." Eloise is in the house. She writes, "Good morning. Happy Tuesday." Absolutely. Kenneth writes, 72 virus are coming. 72 virus? What's that? Are you saying 72 viruses or it's called the 72 virus? I don't understand. Call Me R1 writes, "Good morning, Choppers. Nate, you were missed yesterday. I hope you and your family had the best day possible." I missed you guys as well. My plan was to be with you bright and early at 7. It just didn't go that way. And then I wanted to do a show at 12. It didn't go that way. But I'm with you now. I'm planning to be with you throughout the rest of the week. On my end, the family is good. We're all good. We got a bunch of stuff going on. My mother-in-law has COVID. So my wife's mother has COVID. So she's in our thoughts and prayers. And, she's in her 60s now. So, that's a really sensitive thing. But other than that, we good. We like everybody else trying to get to A to B. But I appreciate the kind words. Kenneth writes, number 72 variants, Nathan. Okay. No, 72 different variants. Really? Is that somewhere I can read? Oh, God dang it. This ain't going nowhere. And if you look at, I don't give you another example. Look at the world of sports. Like right now, remember back when it was quarantining people, you had the bubble in the NBA. Why they stop doing that? Because it seems like when they were doing that, less people were getting the disease. But now it's like if you follow the NBA, all of these teams are losing players due to the COVID protocols. Like, why not stay in the bubble? And that's because of money. What I've learned about COVID over the last year and a half is that it's true what they say. Is cash rules everything around me. Not compassion. It's cash rules everything around me. Not compassion. It's not that compassion rules everything around me. It's cash rules everything around me. So if it don't make money, it don't make sense, period. And that's what I've seen. And our culture is willing to put everything at risk for normalcy or for making that almighty dollar. That's what I see. That's what I've seen. And I don't see anything stopping at all. At all. And we're about to go into New Year's Eve. You got a lot of people that's going to be going to New Year's Eve parties, gatherings, family gatherings, all kinds of stuff. What are you going to do? Sean's in the house. He writes, "Good morning, King Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Good morning to you." So my question, and Maxine is answering, my question is, I do this show for you. And I'd like to get a sense of what you would like to see from this show as we go into 2022. And I'm serious from that. And in terms of topics, are you looking for local topics? Are you looking for more national topics? Are you looking for a polite blend? In terms of topics, what things? Are you looking for, like daily news topics? Are you looking for empowerment topics? Are you looking for wealth building topics? Are you looking for what exactly? And just think about it. You can always hit me with direct message and let me know that way. I appreciate you. Maxine writes a blend, all but mainly about cultivating Black-owned hotels, grocery store, learning centers, clinics, farmers markets, media deprogram, trauma center, psychiatric caring, consciousness teacher, orphanage. Okay, I think I get what you're trying to say. Deborah writes, "Good morning, Nate and the Choppers." Good morning to you, Deborah. Kenneth writes, "Normal is over." My man Kenneth is on point. You're right. Or it's the new normal. I can see. I'm gonna say this again. I can see masks and threats about COVID being here for the rest of our lifetime, period. This is what it is. I just don't think that we as human beings, especially as Americans, we don't have what it takes to beat COVID. We're not built for that. I don't see it. And we are in a worse spot now than we were last year, but the governor and people just aren't ringing the alarm the way they used to be. A year from now, people were ringing the alarm. Now they're not doing anymore. They're just kind of like, well, get the vaccine, as if that's the panacea for everything, which I don't believe it is. I think it can be important for people that want to do that, but we're not going forward, people. We're going backwards. So COVID is more widespread now than it was a year ago, but there's no conversation about doing anything different with CPS. There's no conversation whatsoever. And I think it has to do with two things. Number one, the widespread usage of the vaccine. And then people are getting used to living this way. We're getting used to doing this. So it's kind of like, why change anything? I can still go to the grocery store. Carmiar One writes, "We don't care enough about other people." Absolutely. Daryl writes, "In China, they are." I'm not even hit. What's happening in China? Daryl, I have no idea. Hit me to the game, bro. What's going on? In China, they are what exactly? I don't know. They are what, Daryl? I'll wait for your response. I'm not sure. Somewhere in China, they are in complete lockdown. Yeah, but you can't lock Americans down like that because of the Constitution and the way Americans have been programmed. We tried that. And the governor of Ohio and other governors got threatened. They got threatened by businesses. They got threatened by, these I don't know what you would call them. You can't do that with Americans. Americans don't want to be locked down. We want to go spend our money. We want to go to the club. We want to go to family gatherings. That's what we want to do. It is what it is. What you gonna do about that? 513-873-7134. In a moment, I want to talk about a current event story. This story comes from Los Angeles. A video is out now where a 14-year-old girl was shot and killed. Apparently, she was hiding in a dressing room, and a police officer was dealing with a situation that the police officer believed rose to the level. Oh, thank you so much, son. You gonna say good morning? Come sit on the microphone, man. You know how you got to do? Say good morning.
Good morning
To the choppers.
to the chopper.
You got to be on the mic.
Good morning to the chopper.
Give me a kiss. Give you a kiss. I love you. I love you. Have a great day. Be strong, be smart. All right, got you. That's my boy right there, boy. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Wendy writes, "In China, they are on full lockdown. We should probably be on full lockdown here, but you can't do that with Americans. Americans ain't going for that. They were in the streets. They were at the Capitol. You can't do that. That's probably what needs to happen. Like, I'm going to go ahead and say something uncomfortable. What probably needs to happen is we need to be in quarantine right now. But that's not going to happen because as Americans, we ain't having it. And it's the white folks will hit the roof. They ain't going for that. We tried that. They're not going for that. Even if it's valid and it's the healthier option, they ain't going for that. Even with the schools. Like, come on now. Listen, we are where we are, but everybody knows the safest place for those kids was probably at home in terms of like safe from COVID. And there's other considerations, but safe from COVID, that was, but even among parents, there was a big debate. We can't agree on nothing. We can't agree on nothing. And that's why I told you about that movie, Don't Look Up. Because if you just tuned in that movie, it's a disaster comedy, which seems oxymoronic, but it works. There's a comet. This is Earth. There's a comet. There's a comet that's coming toward Earth. And when it collides with our planet, it's going to kill everybody. And the people in the world couldn't even agree on that. They're arguing back and forth. Kenneth writes, keep your immune system strong and you just be fine. For some. Deborah writes, big hugs for the children. It's all about the children. Don Lee writes, your relationship with Junior will only get better. Enjoy every moment of it. You know what? I've learned to. There was a time when I'll be honest with you, just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, Don, every second I'm enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? That little dude right there, that's my buddy. That's my little buddy on so many different levels. And I couldn't be more pleased being his father. I love it. Deborah writes, women were mad because getting their hair done in mani-pedis were more important than coronavirus. Yeah, to some. America was created because people did not want to do what the government told them to. Yeah, but we do what the government tells us all the time. Like you pay your taxes and you buy car insurance and you abide by all the rules because the government tells you to. So I ain't understand it. Anthony writes, good morning, Junior. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Thank you for your support. Nikki writes, shooting in a busy store like that is reckless. I could not agree more. Absolutely. A video was released yesterday that showed a Los Angeles police officer firing at a man suspected of assaulting customers last week at a clothing store. A shooting also killed a 14-year-old girl that was struck by a bullet that went through a wall. The Los Angeles Police Department posted an edited video online that shows like a lot of stuff, but not everything. And apparently the department has a policy to release videos from critical incidents such as police shootings within 45 days. I think it should be more immediate than that, but it is what it is. In the video, there was a suspect that was attacking two women and was striking customers with a bike lock. Now, you can kill somebody with a bike lock. You can put one of those locks on your knuckles and swing on somebody and kill them. So is a bike lock a deadly weapon? I think it could be a deadly weapon. And so the officer was responding to that. The man had no weapon, only a bike lock. Do you agree that a bike lock is a deadly weapon? I think it can be used as a deadly weapon. You know what I'm saying? You put that lock right here and you hold on to it. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is you swing the lock so the lock is up here and you just swinging it with that thing. You understand? You can put that thing in a sock and kill somebody. Is it a deadly weapon? It can be a deadly weapon. But do I think it's reckless to fire into rounds at a suspect in a crowded place like that? Absolutely. To me, that sounds like a good scenario to use a taser because you don't want to kill somebody else. And you got a lot of mentally ill people out there. You got a lot of people that's just got a lot of issues. Apparently, the man left the store, came back, and was repeatedly beating a woman with a bike lock as she cowered on the floor. And as she tried to escape, he dragged her through the aisles toward the dressing rooms. Apparently, there was more than one officer, but only one officer opened fire, which when you have those kind of scenarios, I always wonder, like, well, you got multiple officers here, but only one decides to use deadly force. That's suspect to me. And as I'm reading, the suspect died. 24-year-old suspect, Daniel Elena Lopez, died at the scene. But also, a young girl, 14 years old, named Valentina, died. She was hiding with her mother inside a dressing room. So just imagine this. You at the store, you see something crazy going on. You and your child are hiding out. You want things, the dust to clear. You want the police to get there. Y'all hiding out. You're clutching your daughter. You with your child. And all of a sudden, your child gets shot right there. Can you imagine? And so a lot of people, the parents, have contacted, you know who, attorney Ben Crump. I saw him at a news conference just last week. And it's a real sad situation right there. Because the officer, I don't think the officer intended to kill anybody, but I think sometimes you can be reckless. You know what I'm saying? Like, it matters the scenario that you're in. That's part of what those officers that killed Breonna Taylor, that was part of their problem. Is that you firing shots recklessly into the house. Some of those rounds was going into other apartments. You could have killed somebody else. Should that be taken into account? Absolutely. Absolutely should be taken into account. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Kenneth writes, look at 137 shots on Netflix. Cleveland police are off the chain. I'm aware of that story because when it happened, I talked about it here on the show. I have not watched the documentary, Kenneth. I'll be honest with you. I started it, but I wasn't in the frame of mind to finish it. This was I don't know, it was sometime over the last week. I started it, and when it starts with a profile of the family, like a family gathering. It was just too emotional for me. I couldn't watch it at that point, but I plan to circle back around to watch it again. I know you feel the same way. Like, there's a documentary or viral video and you're just not in the space to watch it. Like, I can't watch this right now, right? It's depicting things that you don't want to deal with right then and there. Nikki writes, his taser wasn't working. I don't know. We'll find out. Sean writes, Nate, why are so many rappers dying as of late? Is the African-American community becoming more violent? ? Philly had over 500 homicides this year, the highest since 1990. No, I don't believe that the African-American community is becoming more violent. I think that COVID has only magnified the same issues that were already there. COVID has only magnified so many issues that were already there. And I think the social media plays a part in the sense that you can peer into other people's lives so easily now. So if you a hater, then you got more reason to hate because you can see more. If you go to some of these rappers' Instagram pages, a lot of them are living their best life. If you go to Lil Baby's, and I like Lil Baby, if you go to Lil Baby's Instagram page right now, he living his best life dripped in diamonds and exclusive J's, as in Air Jordans. He living his best life. If you a hater, if you're the kind of person where if you see somebody else shine, now like that bothers you, and there's a lot of people like that, like, damn, who is he? I wish that was me, right? It only magnifies it. And people have always been killed and died over frivolous reasons, Sean, and they still dying and killing over frivolous reasons. You know, it is what it is. Money, women, power, ego, it's the same old ish. I'm not surprised that homicides are up because the same old issues that were before COVID are still there, and COVID just exacerbated it. Just made everything worse. The feeling of isolation, the masks, dealing with all of it. Just dealing with all of it. It's just exacerbated everything. If you were mentally ill prior to COVID, you still dealing with them same issues on top of everything else. I was just watching or reading something, Sean, and I didn't complete all of it, so I can't tell you everything. But the gist of this analysis, some smart doctors, some smart people came together, and they did a study on how COVID-19 in the last year and a half has had an impact on the mental health of young people, of teenagers. And as my flow, as you might be able to tell from where I'm going with this, It's had a negative impact. You know, the quarantine, the self-quarantine, the mask, worrying about whether you have COVID, losing people, all of that has just made everything that was already there much worse. So why are rappers killing rappers? Some of that is that crab in the barrel mentality. You know what I'm saying? Some of that is that Willie Lynch. Let's be honest here. Some of it's Willie Lynch. Some of it's mental illness. Some of it's over women. Some of it's over ego. Some of it is just same old, same old. But the one thing I would say, Sean, is crime is up everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder if, our non-melanated brothers and sisters are having a similar conversation. Like, do white folks or non-black folks, when they see violence being committed by people that look like them, do they internalize and say, damn, why are we becoming so violent? You also have the media, you got social media. So when something happens, it's everywhere now. Everything is magnified. We know more about shit that's happening in other cities and around the world to every little detail more than we ever had before. So I think it's a mixture of all of that. But no, I don't think the African American community is becoming more violent. I think that violence is inherently a part of the fabric of America, period. Period. This country was founded on violence, the violence of the Native Americans. This country was built upon violence, right? The violence of slavery and the violence of indentured servitude, the violence of forced labor, right? I mean, this country was based upon that. We love violence as long as we're not the victim of it. We go to the movies to see violence. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on now. The Avengers are violent. You know what I'm saying? The Avengers, that movie is not a movie about diplomats. They didn't sit down and talk it out with Thanos. They went to war. They went to war. So no, the African American community is not becoming more violent. Don't let them even start. I know, Sean, you smarter than this already, bro, but don't let them do that. No, it's not. Number one, there's more rappers now, it seems, than ever before. Everybody's a rapper these days. It's so easy to be a rapper. If I wanted to, I could put out an album in a couple of months if I wanted to. And it would be, I ain't saying it'll be on Drake level, but I can make it sound good. I could write some rhymes, get some beats. I could get it mastered professionally and put that shit on Instagram or SoundCloud just like that. So it's easier to be a rapper today now than more than ever. Right? So just more rappers. But no, I don't people been killing people over trinkets, gold, chains, cars, women, you name it, right? Since the beginning of time. Cain killed Abel. You know what I'm saying? The first two men, if you believe the Bible, ever. Cain killed Abel. That was his brother. So, no, I don't believe that at all. And despite the Enquirer's attempts with their Kids Who Kill series, I'm not afraid of teenagers that live in Hamilton County. I'm not going to be afraid of these kids that look like me. I was a teenager. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not going to do it. It's just not happening. So I don't believe that one bit, Sean. And we got to fight hard to make sure that it don't go down that road where we start looking at it like that. Like, why is we more violent? I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I mean, you could make an argument that the police are more violent. You know what I'm saying? You can make an argument that the country is just more violent. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how is the African American community? Again, I'm not picking on you, Sean. I'm just using your thoughts. I know you were just helping the conversation. I appreciate it. So I'm just going to bounce off of it. But how is the African American community more violent when all these non-black people on January 6th went there and was committing all kind of violence? I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? They had whole plans to kidnap the governor of Michigan and the governor of Ohio and do all kind of violent things to them. But the African American community is more violent. I don't believe it whatsoever. You know, it's COVID. COVID and our response to COVID has made all the problems that we had before even worse, including that. And unfortunately, the media, local media, and our society, when it comes to teenagers, we only focus on them when one or two things happen. They do something dumb or violent and they make the headlines, or it's the best of the best of the best of the best, right? Like somebody got a perfect SAT or ACT score, right? Or you got a 15-year-old that's going to an Ivy League school. But what about all those other people? We don't say nothing about them. Nothing to say. And here in Hamilton County, unfortunately, I feel like we turned our back on teenagers until teenagers force us to look at them like, oh, they got a gun in their hand. Now we got to pay attention. Other than that, it's kind of like, get out of here. We don't want to see you. We don't want to hear you. We don't want to interact with you. No, 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 no. We don't want you out here loitering. But when you pick up a gun and kill somebody, oh boy, what's wrong with the teenagers? So we can't have it both ways. Brenda writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you, Brenda. Good to see you. Brian writes, good morning. I know you sidebar. You ain't gonna say GSW? Because they looking real good, bro. They're looking real good, man. If I had to pick somebody coming out the West, I would pick GSW. No doubt, all day long. But anyway, he writes, morning, just watch Don't Look Up. Such a shame that this movie depicts exactly how some of us are even in impending doom, right? Correct the mundo. Great minds think alike. I saw the movie and I thought, wow, that's great commentary about who we are as Americans. Again, you should check it out and watch it, man. Again, I'm not going to tell you it's the best movie ever, but it's interesting commentary about the world that we live in. And I could see people doing that. I could see if there was some type of comet or whatever with a collision course toward the United States or the Earth or whatever, I could see people acting that way because we're doing it right now. We're doing it right now. Like right now, 30% of Republicans believe that the election was stolen. There's no evidence there's no hard evidence at all that the election was stolen. But 30%, I saw this poll somewhere, I think it was on redstate.com. 30% of polled Republicans believe that the election was stolen. Why? Because people that they admire said so. And that's enough. If there was a comet that was on a collision course with the United States, and Donald Trump said, oh, that's just a plot from the damn lazy liberal media. They're trying to stop me from running for re-election. I'd say he get 10 to 15% of Republicans that would believe it. That's just where we are. That's just where we are. Maxine writes, my destiny is not their COVID, whatever strand, nor their 5G. Kathy's in the house. She writes, good morning, all. Hey, good morning, Kathy. Lannis writes, good morning, brother Nathan Ivey. Good morning to you. Deborah writes, cops don't care who they kill. Collateral damage just a part of their job. Deborah, you're absolutely right, and good morning to you. I would say some police officers, not all. Not all. Some. Some police officers got some damn sense like us. They're not on the job to do that. They're on the job to do what they took their oath to do, and they think about those kind of things. Some officers become afraid, and they just do things and react, and then they end up being exonerated, and it's the truth. We got to know we're going to have to deal with more of this in 2022. And the reason why is because the forces that support police the way they are, the status quo, are far more well organized and well funded than the forces that don't like the status quo. And that's just what it is. The people that support the status quo of policing in America got more money and they're well organized, way more organized than the people that don't like the status quo. And until we change that, family, we're going to have to deal with it. Kenneth writes, family, we are at war. We are the prey. Time to unite. Okay. Kenneth writes, brother, it tore me up. The movie? If you're just tuning in, we talked about this earlier. This is a piece of art from a Black artist. It's a male. His name is Kelly Lattimore. lives and works in St. Louis. This is you might have seen this before. Actually, he made this last year after the death of George Floyd, and this is actually hanging up at a Catholic university in the DC area. And Kelly Lattimore has received death threats from around the world. That is the Holy Mother, and also usually you would see Jesus, but that's a depiction of George Floyd. And the title of it is Mama, because those were some of the last words that George Floyd uttered before he died under the knee of a man's name I won't even say right now, freaking coward. I ain't trying to get violent because I try not to be a violent man. But if I heard that Derek Chauvin got taken out the same way he took out George Floyd, I wouldn't have no feelings about it whatsoever. I wouldn't have no feelings about it because I think you get what you deserve in this world. You reap what you sow. And I'm getting emotional about it. Just my blood is boiling, right? I hate to see people get done wrong, man. I hate that. Kevin writes, big facts, Nathan, big facts. Pamela writes, I couldn't watch 137 shots. The white teacher told her class that had many black people in it that Tamir Rice caused his own death. A cop was there trying to defend the actions of cops. Pissed me off. I turned it off. Oh, is that in the movie? Tamir Rice caused his own death? What in the hell? What? The fuck? I don't want to curse. I'm trying to be better. But what the fuck? What? Angela writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning. Ah! Sean writes, great point, Nate. Absolutely. Yeah, we are, black folks are not more violent than anybody else. I don't believe that one bit. You know, way before COVID, there was a lot of issues, and those issues are still here. Those issues are still here. They ain't gone nowhere. We ain't did shit about them. So everybody's running around like, well, why are the numbers up? Why are people? Well, because of COVID. If you look at the smart people, like the people that do analysis on the behaviors and the trends of human beings, they're all saying the same thing. They are all saying the same thing. That COVID has had a real impact on the social and emotional well-being of people across the board. That's why. This ain't no rocket science. There's no rocket science. And you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Brandy writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Deshauna writes, power tripping. Kevin writes, F John Blaze. They ready to die ish. It was all right. It was all right, but I got John Blaze ish in my New York accent. Shout out to Biggie's ready to die. Kenneth writes, the labels are killing their artists for insurance and royalties, for a gold chain and a car. What? You think the labels are behind this? You never heard that. Deborah writes, I think the gaslighting about COVID is driving people crazy. Living under constant threat of illness and death is unbearable. Correct, Amanda. Deborah, I think you're onto something. Living under this cloud of the constant threat of illness and death is having a huge impact. It really is. Like I said, the wife and I went to a friend's birthday party the other day. We sitting there with close proximity with people that we don't really know that well with no mask on. I'm like, why are we doing this? It's because we just felt this need to get out. You know what I'm saying? To get out of the house, to do something. You know what I'm saying? And if we feeling it, everybody else feeling it. I know that. We are the Avengers. Sean writes, great analysis, Nate. You brought forth amazing perspective. Deborah writes, the police are their own gang enforced by white supremacy. In some cases, I can't disagree with you, but across the board, no. But in some cases, you're right. Absolutely. A 20-something-year-old white man killed a 19-year-old woman is 18-year-old white guy behind my house last week, all over the news. Those white folks quiet in neighborhood apps, so I posted it for all of them. Still silence, really. Interesting. The color of crime, right? Jenny writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. There it is. Brian writes hashtag GSW. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Like I said, I plan on keeping my eye on what happens with the NBA. I probably won't. I'll be honest with you. I probably won't be watching no whole games, even with the championship. Like when the Lakers won that championship in the bubble against Miami, I didn't watch any entire game at all. I would watch the first quarter and then tap out, or maybe the first half and tap out, or I would come in during the fourth quarter. I just don't have it in me these days to sit still and watch a sporting event like that. I just don't have it in me. Don writes, most of the dumb and violent acts you speak of, Nathan, are not mentioned in the news. Most shootings or acts of violence do not make the news. Correct, Amondo. That's my opinion as well. Sean writes, what's the name of the movie? I think I've got the here it is. It's called Don't Look Up. It's called Don't Look Up, based on truly possible events. That's hilarious. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio. Did I say his name right? And Jennifer Lawrence. And it's got an all-star cast. Tyler Perry's in it. He plays he plays like a Michael Strahan type. You gotta watch it. It was great commentary about the world we live in across the board, from the media to the people, to the politics, to the politicians. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's the latest thing to watch. That's it. Daryl writes, your hour's throwing me off. You start at 7 a.m. now? Yeah, I'll be starting 7 a.m. Going back to the old school. That is my plan. Let me see. Fame, he writes, the old basic banal black speak of kids should be seen and not heard ethos from the black community calls kids to do this. We are all hearing them loud and clear, gunshots and ambulance sirens. I disagree. I disagree on that, but good morning to you. Kenneth writes, the police are modern day slave catchers. They are not for you. They work for the elites of this world to protect their property. Yeah, I get it, Kenneth. But I think that two things that I really, really believe in. Number one, I think being a police officer is an honorable job. I stand by that. I believe that. And two, we need good, conscious people to become police officers. In particular, black people, black and brown people that are of good moral fiber, character, to become police officers and do the good work from within. Right? We can't just do it from without. It's got to be done from within as well. That's just my opinion. Let me see. Fame writes, since I have relapsed into tobacco use, I have to use nicotine patches. I'm going to beat tobacco use in 20. There it is. There it is. I think we good right now. All right. Audio. Yeah, we're good. Good. Thank you for telling me that. You coming in, son? All right. I think we good. There he is. For the third time. What's going on upstairs? Everybody good? You about to roll out?
My tooth is coming out.
Really?
It's a wiggly tooth.
It's a wiggly tooth, yes. All right, I think you can hear me now. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, I think I inadvertently disconnected my mic plug. They can see you, but because I can see you right here. So if they can see you, I can see you. So it's all Gucci. It's all good. Sharp writes, it's greed over COVID. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think I inadvertently unplugged it. The plug was just, the USB cord was slightly out. I got you, man. What's up? Give daddy some love. You know, I take all this love from you, man. Be smart, be strong today, okay? And here's a brush. Brush that hair. You do need a brush.
Look at my hair. I don't need a brush.
Okay. Go give it to your mama. Go give it to your mama. Okay.
You do it, Mama.
Okay, I'll do your hair. Come over here and stand real quick. You know your dad always gonna make it. No. I said stand. That's it. Stand.
No, I don't want it.
Okay. Don't act up because you know I don't care if people watching or not. You already know. Okay, I got you together, man. Got to cut you back down again. Keep you nice. Come here. There we go. Boom, boom. You good. Looking good. You know how kids are. They think they can get away from something because people watching. No. All right, fam. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's just people care about you. I appreciate it. But somebody asked me, so here, yeah, he got a death threat for that painting, and the name of the movie is called Don't Look Up. It's on Netflix. You can find it. There it is again. Don't Look Up. A disaster comedy. What's funny about disaster? Nothing. But it is interesting, though. Check that out. Again, 513-873-7134 if you'd like to share your thoughts. Let me see. Mr. ORR, it's sense, not sense. We shouldn't pay attention. Okay, you're talking to somebody else. Asheray's Black fathers matter. Yeah, Black families matter too. They definitely matter. Most certainly. So today's show, I'm going to be jumping between current events and things that have happened over the last year. So let me talk some current events real quick. This is something, as we're talking about police and the Black community, this is something that I think that we will have more conversation about as we go into 2022. Look at that right there. Look at that. Look at that. That is a robotic dog, DOG, made by the good folks over at Boston Dynamics. And you might be thinking, what the hell? Yes, that's a robotic police dog. And as I've been reading, robotic police dogs are the new thing. A couple years ago, it was ShotSpotter. This is the new thing. And is manufactured by Boston Dynamics. Is being tested out in New York City, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., and Honolulu's police department. So police departments in New York City, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., and Honolulu are using the new DigiDog. That's what it's called, the DigiDog. And this is remote controlled. It has video surveillance capabilities. And this is the new thing. It's called Spot. Yeah. It's a 4-legged device that can walk on various terrains. It can open doors. It can record video. It can even dance. The manufacturing cost for this robotic dog is anywhere between $94,000 and $150,000. And I'm wondering how long before we see this in the city of Cincinnati. advocacy groups around the country are raising alarms. They think that there's dangers involved because they believe like, you know, robots don't have a soul. They don't have the ability to discern some of the human context and elements like a real human being as an officer. Others are saying that maybe that's a good thing because we live in a world where people are getting shot in the chest and dying because police officers are mistaking tasers for firearms. And they're saying that a digidog or a robotic police officer will never do that. And I'd like to get your thoughts about this. You could see something like this walking through your neighborhood in 2022. In 2022, a woman named Shavona Newsom, she's a co-founder of Black Lives Matter of Greater New York. Here's a quote for her. She writes, quote, "We lost the battle over defund the police, but those same departments have the money to pay for robotic dogs and militarized tactical equipment when school districts in those areas are suffering." So two things are happening now. You got to keep your mind on, right? People's perception about being a victim of crime is at an all-time high because Cincinnati is not is very similar to what's happening in other cities where they're seeing an uptick in crime. When you see an uptick in crime, typically those local media outlets will follow it. They'll follow it. So for instance, I'm not really sure if this was the intent of the Cincinnati Enquirer, but their series Kids That Kill, one of the side effects of that is going to make people feel afraid because you got kids killing kids, and I can see how people could read those series of essays and articles and feel like, oh, there's nothing we can do. Things are out of control. And so when people feel like they're more likely or there's an increase in the likelihood of them becoming a victim of crime, well, then what are they going to do? They're going to fund their police departments. They're going to want more officers, and they're going to want more equipment in their neighborhoods that they feel could make them feel safe. And that takes us back to the DigiDog. That's Spot right there. And I think if you're dealing with like a bomb situation or maybe like a hostage situation or something like that, and you don't want to put a human being in place, then you want to get a bird's eye view or a video camera on the situation, I can understand using that. But I mean, essentially, you could be in a situation. And here's the other thing is that people are saying that these robotic dogs are being tested out in Black and brown neighborhoods first. So it's kind of like tested out here. And it makes sense in some cases because it's the Black and brown neighborhoods in too many cases that are hot spots for crime. So when critics or community leaders say, hey, this is wrong, well, the police and local governments will push back and say, hey, listen, it's not a black or white, it's not a color thing. This is just where the crime is. And how long before somebody on city council thinks, you know what, this is a good idea? Just like they did with ShotSpotter. And what I would say is that if ShotSpotter is working so well, and this might be unfair, but I'm going to say it anyway, then why are we seeing such an uptick in crime? Or is there an uptick in crime? I don't know. You tell me. Do you think that there's an inherent problem with police having a device like this, a tool like this in the tool shed? Are we moving toward the days where it's going to be like, remember Robocop? Remember the days of, remember Robocop? That's the first Robocop was classic. That was my shit. Me and my brother loved that shit, man. That was the shit. You can't tell me the first Robocop. I'm talking about the first Robocop. Like they did another one a few years ago or some time ago. That was shit. But the first Robocop was dope. And he was a police officer. I mean, it was so much commentary in it, right? It was so much commentary. And I believe it was set in Detroit or something like that. And it was just cool shit. You know, as a teenager, I thought RoboCop was so dope. Drop it. I think it was Peter Weller, I think it was name, was the first RoboCop. That was first. How far are we from that? I don't think we're that far. Remember that? And you remember, I guarantee it, because you know they want something that's more efficient and something more efficient, or cost efficient and more effective. So we're dealing with this right now. How long before we're here? And in our efforts to go from here to here, something tells me that human beings are gonna F it all up. We're gonna fuck it all up, like so we do. Pamela writes, Nate, can you check Spreaker sound? Okay, let me check on Spreaker over there. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna have to. I'll re. You're Kim Potter. You close to retirement. You gonna oops my bad on purpose, mistakenly kill somebody? Like, what does she get out of this? She's close to retirement. She about to live her best life. She been on the force for 20, 25 years. I don't believe she did it on purpose. I think she was reckless. That's what I think. I think she was reckless, and I think she overreacted. And I wonder if the reason why she overreacted is because she was dealing with a young brother. But I don't think she did it on purpose, Maurice, because what's the motive? Let me go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
I think you're muted again, B, on YouTube and stuff.
What'd you say now?
I think you're muted again on YouTube.
Okay. I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, anyway. Hi, Nathan. How are things?
I'm doing well, Fame. How are you?
I'm pleasant.
Good to hear.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sitting here. And, well, you know, Tariq Nasheed been talking about them robotic dogs for a couple of years now. You know, putting, images of them and, motion videos of them on his page, on his Instagram pages and whatnot for a couple of years now. And then just last week, they had one of those performing with the Army marching band in a college football game.
Normalizing.
And I'm like, I'm just sitting there, huh?
They're normalizing it.
Right. I'm just sitting there like, we're screwed. They're just putting this in our face like it's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
They're making robotic pit bulls. You know, yeah, and I'm, it just makes me think. Anytime I see something like that, it just makes me think of the Unabomber. I'm sorry. He was exactly right. Technology is going too far. It's getting in the wrong hands. And now, whatever community, the high crime community, black community, whatever, that community is screwed with these dogs. I mean, yeah, they're going to run up on you, and they're going to basically have the immunity that the jab, the soup, the vaccine creators have. Like, you can't sue them. If it hurts you or nothing, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no recourse for you. You're just going to have to take it on the chin. That's what these robot dogs are going to have, and I think that's grossly, outrageously unfair that they're doing this. But like I said, we're screwed, so we're just going to have to take it. Also, I need the choppers to save the date. First ever Cincinnati Black Creatives meet and greet, June 11th, 2022, 8 to 1. Location will be determined very soon. We're working out the details on that, me and another chopper. You all are invited, all the choppers. Nate, you're definitely invited. You will be one of the guests of honor, provided that you actually attend. We know you're scared to come outside. A little virus in the air, you don't want to come outside, I understand. But if you attend, you will be one of the guests of honor, along with myself, a couple others. To kind of share your experiences being a Black creative. The ups, the downs, the pitfalls. You know what I'm saying? You understand?
Yeah, I get it. Said Black creatives
Okay.
meet and greet.
Yes, Black creatives, the local Black, local Black creatives. From Cincinnati here. And before you even ask, I am. Again, I'm pleased by the Bengals. What they pulled off over the weekend. I like the fact that they were nasty enough to try to run up the score. That's one thing I will give this guy credit for. Marvin Lewis would have never done that. Tried to run the score up. But then again, as a Black coach, he faces a different set of obstacles if he does something unsavory like that. This guy just looked at as all fun and games. The quarterback makes a quip about it. They tried to run it up on us last year. They didn't get no sympathy from me. And, but Marvin Lewis would have got just flambéed if he did that to somebody as a Black coach. But then again, I didn't really see that in him anyway. So I must say that at this point, Zachary, who is a guy I would have trouble following, with a name like Zach, but these aren't necessarily men. These are all 25-year-olds that he's leading. He has trouble with veterans, apparently, because all the veterans are gone. A.J. Green, Geno Atkins, all the guys who were veterans and over 30, got to talk to a little differently, treat a little differently. They're gone. And this guy, but he seems to have the eye of these young guys, seem to have their attention. All you got to do is win one of these last two, or Cleveland lose one of the last two. One of the last two is against us, and we're in the playoffs again. So right now it's a matter of seeding. Sunday's going to be a tall order against Kansas City. But this guy, like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised. I did not see this coming. I saw this as being his final year. Like, it's so bad that they got to fire him. But in his third year, I guess he's going to, get us to the playoffs. So kudos to him. I stand corrected. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. It happens. That's what, that's life. But, and as far as the, I don't understand why that cop would be shooting in a mall with a guy at a guy who's only got a lock, or in a department store. Every shot that girl through the dressing room door. That's outrageous. This cop should be. But again, it's a matter of intent versus impact. Are they going to charge him with murder? Probably not. Probably involuntary manslaughter, because he was chasing down a guy with a dangerous weapon. But it's a matter of the conviction. This is kind of one of those things where is the jury going to say, well, you should have been shooting in there like that? And that's all it boils down to. Does the jury feel like he should have been shooting in a department store? Just ostensibly, no. Based on the fact that, as I know him, no, he should not have been shooting in a department store. That's ridiculous. And before I go, like I said, we walk through this community with that, kids should be seen and not heard. I actually seen some young people, that were ready to, do their own activism. And they were told, quite frankly, in no uncertain terms, it ain't your time. They were told by the weed dealing preacher down at City Hall, it ain't your time. You got to wait your turn.
Now, what was his name?
And I thought that was
what happened?
At the George Floyd protest, not this past summer, but the summer before. The weed dealing preacher, you know who I'm talking about, the local weed dealer. He told some young protesters that it wasn't their time to be out front. Yes, the hell he did.
If you're talking about Damon Lynch,
say what?
I heard him.
I'm talking
at a George Floyd. It was on. I was there myself. It was at.
You were not there this time. I was there.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're talking about, but I saw him. He was there. We were on the steps of City Hall. It was last year. I don't remember what it was about, but I heard him say the exact opposite. I heard Damon Lynch say, "Look, I'm the old dude. It's y'all time to lead. I'm gonna step to the side and let y'all do." That's exactly what came out of his mouth. So
that's not what he said. The one I heard him say, these kids were told, it's not your time, because one of them clearly said, "Well, when is it gonna be our time? We're tired of having to wait."
You were hurt. You heard.
And we're yelling at the guy.
You were told.
I heard it. I saw it
with your own ears.
I was there I was probably 20 feet away from the stage, or the City Hall steps. There were probably 6 people between me and the City Hall steps, the bottom of it. And I heard him say this.
Really? And
I just looked at him like, really? And these young people were sounding off on him. About 3 of them went off. There was probably a crowd of about 10 of them. And they said this, and I'm like, that's that, it's one of the problems with the black community. We don't respect the voice of the youth. But mainstream society defines the black community by our youth. And I thought that was very weird that he would behave like that. So, but hey, that's all I got. It seems to be a solemn morning. I hope everything is all right with you. Didn't hear from you. I was a little worried, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm good.
But yeah, so that's all I got, and we'll catch up soon. B, you got a text coming to you real later this week that I need, so we don't have any misappropriations like we did last time. I need you to respond to the text.
Yeah, that was all your fault.
Be well, bro.
But I will. Yeah, that was all your fault.
There you go talking. There you go talking shit, talking greedy, lying to the people. Please don't put no smut on my name like that.
It's not smut.
Don't do that. Bro. Don't do that, Nathan. Stop. Just stop fronting, okay?
I don't front. I keep it real.
Or cap, whatever the kids say. Since the kids want to be heard, no cap, okay? I'll use y'all slang, but it's been real, Nathan. I had fun, and I need you to be well.
All right, same here, brother. Appreciate you. I meant what I told you that in text. I tell you that now. That was on yo. Do better, bro. Oh, interesting. Good morning to you. Glad that you're here. Glad that you're here. Let me see here. Where we at? Where are we at? Where are we at this morning? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning. Hold on, I'm checking out. Oh, man. Nice. Hold on, I'm checking out something real quick. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, okay, sounds good. You said something for black. I'm all about that. I'm a black creatives. I work with black creatives. That's what this is. I'm not a talk show, so I'm a creative. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand who you are and what we are. We can hear on Facebook. Yeah, I had some minor issues. I think we took care of them. Yeah, that's funny. He said, I mean, I can't challenge what you said you heard, but I heard the exact opposite. I heard the exact opposite. You talking about Damon Lynch? I heard the exact opposite. I was standing right there, steps of City Hall. I forget why we were down there and what the issue was. It was last year, and I heard that man say, "Hey, what I'm saying, I'm the OG in this. I'm ready to step to the side. Y'all take the mantle and run with it." He said that in front of everybody. I think he said it behind the microphone or with the megaphone or something like that, if I remember correctly. But I can't challenge what you heard, brother. Rachel writes, "Good morning, family." Dale writes, "Mrs. Potter was sure stoked when charges were read and smiling during her arrangement photo. So I wonder how much crying is sincere." Yeah, I think it's all sincere. Like, here she is about to she got convicted, looking like some serious jail time, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. I think one charge is max 10 years, the other's max 15 years. We'll see how much she gets. Um, uh, Again, I don't believe she did that on purpose because I don't know what the motive is. Like, what would be her motive? Was this like some kind of blood ritual to get inside? You got to kill an unarmed black man to get into the Illuminati? I don't believe that. I think it was a mistake and she was careless and reckless, just like the charges. That's what I believe. Because again, she's 25 years, 20 plus 5, 20 plus years in her profession. She's close to retirement. She about to tap off and get a boat and live her best life. Why would she complicate her life by going through this? What human being would complicate their life on purpose? I don't believe that. I think it was a mistake. But some mistakes cost you. I think she was reckless. Greg writes, "I doubt that Potter did it on purpose, though I can't read her mind, of course. It seems to me more like a case of callous disregard for whether she went for a taser or gun, just like the Bart cop who shot Oscar Grant in Cali years ago and ended up getting like 2 years in prison." Right. Deborah writes, "Qualified immunity for robot police dogs." Hilarious. Those robotic dogs look creepy. I got another. This is in Honolulu. This is coming to your neighborhood real soon. You'll wake up one day and you'll walk outside to get in your car to go to work or wherever you're going. And one of these robotic police dogs is going to be walking down your street. It might even stop and say hello to you. "Hello, citizen." Oh, yeah, this is the new rage. This is the new rage. Now, why do we need this? I don't know. But this is what we got. They look like, they look like this could be a fucking problem sometime in the future, like on some Terminator type stuff. But, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to go from that to this to this. That's what's happening. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Sister Iris in the house. She writes, "Good morning, great people." Abaragani, absolutely. Daryl writes, "Joe Burrow has my mentality. Zach called a different play and Joe changed it to a pass. Keep up, fame. You slipping." Letty writes, "I think Kim was sacrificed. According to her, she stated she never used a gun to shoot anybody until that fatal shot Kim made while training a rookie." Yeah, I think the vast majority of officers never use their weapon. They never use it. So I can believe that. Drop writes, "Drop the science" from Fame Rothstein. Okay. Deshauna writes, "Are they serving food at this meet and greet? LOL. 8 to 1. That's brunch time. 8 to 1. That's a long time. It's during the day?" And he said the 22nd. What is the 22nd? That's a Saturday, 8 to 1. Okay, that's early too. We'll see. Sounds like some hating going on. It does. Tim writes, "Kim did that for the team. Remember, y'all, we are at war." I just don't think she did it on purpose. I really don't. That's just my personal viewpoint. I could be wrong. Tracy writes, "It's the cop using semi-automatic rifle for me. How many rounds did he get off?" Kenneth writes, "Ben girls will lose first playoff game. Don't get your feelings hurt again and again." They might. TNT writes, who they beat my dad's Baltimore Ravens. Never heard him so quiet in my life, LOL. He calls Paul Brown Stadium the litter box. Just disrespectful. But we put those Ravens in their birdcage. Daryl writes, Lynch, fame is minus facts. Not sure what that means. Deborah writes, yep, my daughter was there when he said it. Okay. Well, again, I didn't say he didn't say it. I just said that I heard him say something completely different, I believe. Daryl writes, he didn't get the story right about the Bengals, thus zero credibility. Let me see. Iris writes, was that during the press conference? I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe it was during the press conference. I wasn't there. I don't remember it. And I wasn't there, so I have no recollection at all. I'm still looking at football 20 It's a reg script. Okay, I got you. Good morning, everybody. No cap, Nate. No cap means you're lying, right? I know. Hey, Nate, can you show police DigiDog do the Billie Jean dance like Black Republicans at the Trump rally? Is that right? So they bring out the robot and make it dance, and that normalizes it. It makes you think it's friendly, when in fact, is anything but friendly, but we shall see. Kenneth writes, sports or politics and political. We don't own any team. I know that's right. Irish Rowley writes, CBUF was trained very well by elders before we stepped out, made an agreement with the elders, and the mantle was passed. But we had to put in the work, development work as well. Okay, I'm with that. I think I understand that. Fame writes, Kush Reed, I think the Chiefs. Okay, he's talking to Kush. TNT writes, was it the raising of the Juneteenth flag at City Hall event you're speaking of with Damon Lynch? I spoke of that event and remember him being there. Again, you have to ask Fame. I was not there. I don't recall it. I have no recollection of it whatsoever. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection out here in rainy and snowy Southern California.
What?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I thought it never rains in Southern California.
Well, when it does, it's this time of year. It's wintertime is when we get our rain.
Okay.
And up north, it's snowing. Because I'm sure if you watch football, you saw the snow in Seattle. So that's obviously on the West Coast. But Mr. Ivey, I tuned in right at the precise moment when Mr. AKA himself, Fane Rothstein, was dropping that science. Because we all know Fane Rothstein is on the cutting edge of the Black culture. So, Mr. Ivey, I didn't see your cover art. Well, yes, I did. I saw the little robot dog. And my question to you, sir, is this what they call the reimagination of law enforcement by the desperate Democrats?
I don't think so.
Whose idea was this robot patrol dog? Or it's K9 unit, basically? Because that's all it is, Mr. Ivey. It's a robot K9 unit. The dog can't bite. They'll probably arm it with some type of non-lethal deterrent to keep somebody from trying to snatch it up or something. But other than that, all it is a robot K9 unit. I don't see what you see as a problem.
Well, I mean, there's a couple problems with it. Number one is the expense of it. That's the first problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it worth the money? That's number one. You know, you got school systems that may need that money, or the money just could be used better and in a better service of the community. So that's the number one issue. I can tell
you think it's economic?
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth the money. And I thought the same thing about what they're using ShotSpotter here in the city of Cincinnati. I didn't think that was worth the money. It's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for what? I don't know. So that's the number one issue. Is it a proper usage of tax dollars? Right? Is it benefiting us?
I thought worth it? Yeah, I mistook your delivery because I thought that you felt it was going to be just another tool to inflict pain and suffering on the Black citizen.
Right, and that's the other part about it. That's what some activists.
Oh, so I did get it right.
I can see that as well. I mean, that's the other. I think what you just said and what I just said are the same thing, right? Like, if it's
Yeah.
a
Okay.
misappropriation of funds, it is harm to those communities because that money could be used in a different way. And then secondly, advocacy groups are saying, look, how's this gonna play in terms of real life, interactions primarily with Black and brown communities? And for that, I think we'll have to wait and see. But off the top of my head, I'm like, why? You got canine units. We already got robots that they use in, like, if you think it's like a bomb situation, we already got those. So what's the
Right.
purpose of this?
Well, this one is artificial intelligence. The other apparatus that you're talking about is controlled manually through remote from an officer at another location. And that's why I said, to me, this is nothing more than a robot canine unit, because they could send this robot into, say, a warehouse, into a hostage situation, and it has artificial intelligence. It could surveil the surroundings. I mean, it could do a lot more than just a remote mechanical bomb remover or something of that nature.
Yeah, but do more,
because
like
that's
what?
the key. That's the key to this. That the key to this is the artificial intelligence.
And I think that's the problem with it, is that what I read is that some folks are like, look, it's got artificial intelligence, but it doesn't have a soul. It can't read a context the way a human being can. And I agree with that.
Exactly.
So why do we
Exactly.
need it?
And
If
that's
we
why
already
I
got
say,
robots
well,
that
you
they
need
use
it.
in bomb
No, Mr.
situations,
Ivey.
if we already have canines, if we already have police officers, then why are we spending $100,000, $150,000 per robot on something like this?
It's because of the past experience with the K9 unit. Because I remember a couple of years ago, you showed a video where there was a situation where a Black person was being apprehended and he was resisting, and they released the K9 on him, and the K9 just locked up, and even the handler could not get that dog off of that man, and that damn near ripped his arm off. So this new artificial intelligent K9 can basically do the same thing as a dog, but you see what I'm saying? It has the artificial intelligence to probably go a certain point and then just completely shut down or something like that. Yeah. And that's why I say,
but as I read,
this
Rob,
could be,
they're not supposed to replace dogs. This is just another tool that law enforcement agencies are going to have.
Right. So instead of sending your canine, your actual animal into a situation, they'll deploy this robot dog instead.
Nah, I don't, but give me a scenario in which
okay, whatever. Well, whatever. Like you said, if you said they're not going to replace the dog, all they're going to do is use the robot in the situations where they used to use the dog. Because once you let that dog go, Mr. Ivey, all you're hoping for is that he's going to be able to hear your vocal commands. And if the dog does not hear the handler tell him to stop, it's trained to just keep attacking. Unlike the robot, who has no teeth, okay? So it's going to go into the same situation and be able to assess and handle the situation different than an animal. That's all I'm saying. Nah, but it looks like to me,
I don't think that's how to be used, though. Like I said, the robot is not going to replace the canine. They're going to have the canines too. It's just yet another tool.
Oh, okay.
And what I can see is, I wonder whether it's worth the money. Right now, advocacy groups are saying that they're being tested out in Black and brown neighborhoods. And then I can see a future where primarily in Black and brown neighborhoods, AKA hot spots for crime, you've got these robotic canines walking around the streets. It's just another level of surveillance and intimidation to me.
Okay, but Mr. Ivey, it's a reason they made it look the way it looks. Okay, because I'm sure you remember the movie from the 90s and the late 80s, Robocop, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
Okay, they could have made it look like a human being, but they didn't because of the things that you just said. They made it look like a canine. And obviously a canine will probably be assisted or be the assistant of a human being law enforcement officer. That's all it is. But again,
Check this out, Drop. I just got somebody just texted me a link to a New York Times article. Here's the headline.
Okay.
New York PD robot dogs run is cut short after fierce backlash. So now what I'm reading is the New York Police Department has already moved away from it because people had concerns that it was just another level of over-aggressive policing in Black and brown neighborhoods.
Right. Okay, I get it. But again, like I said originally, whose idea was this? And I think you said it's in the state of Hawaii.
It's in in Honolulu. It's in Massachusetts.
Okay, well,
it's in DC, and it's in New York.
There you go. Who runs those states? Okay, I need not say more.
I don't know.
I need not say more. This again, like I said at the beginning of the call, this looks like one of those reimaginations of law enforcement that the liberals have come up with to explain what they mean by defund the police.
No.
Because a lot of these, okay, well, that's just one man's opinion, Mr. Ivey.
No, this
is, I think
this is more about the militarization of police departments and the over policing of Black and brown neighborhoods using modern technology. I think that's what this is. So the people
and they're all used in Democrat precincts, Mr. Ivey. All 5 of the states you listed, all run by heavy liberals in the state house and in the governor's house and in the city mayors. They're all Democrats.
Oh, what's your point?
My point again, and then I'm going to hang up.
This about Democrats and Republicans, and this is about...
It is.
It's not. It's not. This is about over-policing of our neighborhoods and the proper usage of police budgets. That's what this is about.
That's not what my call is about.
Yeah, but that's what I'm telling you this is about. Your call can be about something different, but that's what I see in this. You always want to make things about Democrats and Republicans, even when it's not. That's
everything, Mr. Ivey.
Because Democrats,
everything is political, sir.
Everything is not about Democrats and Republicans because sometimes things overlap.
Yes, it is. That's why we should deal with the two-party system.
Our tax dollars, number one. Do I want my local tax dollars to be used on this? That's what it's about, number one. And then number two,
you live in a red state.
How are you going to use it? In what neighborhoods is it going to be used in? That's what this is all about. I think making it about Democrats and Republicans, you missed the point.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I get it 100%.
No, you don't.
Because look what I said when I originally called. Is this another reimagination of law enforcement by the desperate Democrats to justify defund the police? And you listed the states: New York, Massachusetts, Hawaii, and I forgot the other one, but they all are run by liberal Democrats.
You're missing the point because your focus is too narrow.
So again, the technology is new. The technology is new. We all agree on that. It's new. It's in the what do you call it? The testing stage. Okay, just like you referenced that story out of New York. So again, somebody in these precincts that happen to be run by Democrats thinks this is a good idea, Mr. Ivey. Okay? Maybe they're not taking into consideration the stuff you're saying, or maybe they are. We won't know. Maybe they say this is better and more efficient than spending money on training police officers, pensions, benefits, and the possibility they may kill a Black person. All these things. That's all I'm saying, Mr. Ivey. When you see stuff like this, you got to find out, for one, who's implementing it and where they're implementing it and why. Because like you said, if you put this in the wrong environment, it's going to be bad for the people who live there because they don't know what the hell's going on. What the hell is this robot doing? So again, Mr. Ivey, but because of people like you and your show and the reach that you have in your local community, continue to present these type of stories in 2022, because I'm looking forward to see what happens in my fourth year of listening to the Nathan Ivey Show and the choppers and all the callers and all the drama that goes on within the chop shop. I'm loving it. And get ready for season 2 of the Black Not Democrat podcast.
Are you in hiatus right now on the podcast?
Yeah, my last episode I did was, I think it was Halloween. So I haven't done the episode because I'm thinking I'm in the lab, Mr. Ivey. I'm figuring out a way to improve on season 1 and start season 2. I haven't figured it out yet, but I will get back up in 2022 because this is my hobby, Mr. Ivey. Because what is it? It's Tuesday. I ain't got no job. Oh, that's right. I'm retired. And next year will be year number 5. So again, and it'll be year number 4 with the Nathan Ivey Show. So Mr. Ivey, are you still considering getting a studio or
Yes, I
a
am.
office space?
Studio space.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you going to use it? Are you going to use it for video production, like green screen stuff and things like that?
Perhaps.
Okay, because I got something that you may be able to use that's been in my garage for a long time, and I'm going to wait. I'm just going to keep listening to hear your progress and everything, and then once you get set up, then I'll reach out to you and ask you if you could use it in your space. Once you actually get to space, and then you see what it is that I have, and you might be able to use it. Okay, because you notice I said green. You notice I said green screen.
Right.
Okay, so you put 2 and 2 together and kind of get an idea of what I might have that you possibly could use when you get your new space.
Okay. All right, brother. I appreciate you.
Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Drop Squad 52. Dropping science. I'm out. Where you at, Glenn?
All right, take it easy, brother. We'll go ahead and rack him, even though he's got a narrow. I gotta talk about you, big bro. Gotta talk about you, man, because your viewpoint is all about Democrats and Republicans, and there's so many issues. It's so much deeper than that. So much deeper than that. So no, that's not what people was talking about when they was talking about reimagining police. What they were saying is that we should rethink, the amount of money we spend. Maybe there's some better usages instead of just getting more officers. Like I said, we got, again, I'm not sure where the numbers are, but we're very close to having the most amount of officers in Cincinnati that we've ever had. And yet it's had no impact on crime whatsoever. And so people are righteous in saying, hey, let's rethink about whether this is the best way to spend this money. And that's the first thing I thought. I'm like, who ordered up a robotic dog? We don't need this in 2022. I could see them being deployed in black and brown neighborhoods. They're everywhere. They're on a corner. We already live in a surveillance society. What else is this supposed to bring? Like, what is this going to bring to the table? And I can hear the argument. Well, we don't have enough officers, so this could be in replace of an officer. It's far less expensive than the officer, and yet it can be another eye on the street. And then officers can respond very quickly if they see the video and they see something going on. I mean, I can hear the rationale already, but I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Good morning to you. The robotic dog will eventually look like the dogs from Kingsman Golden Circle. Kingsman Girl. I don't think I've seen it at all. Daryl writes, Brent and Daryl, you are not invited. If you show police will be called, stay away from me. Oh boy. That's not the best way to sell people going to an event, brother. No, it's 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Why would I ask Negroes to be somewhere at 8 a.m. other than a hoop game? Okay. Let me see. Brenda Rice, Fame saith, don't put smut on my name. I didn't. I kept it real. I know Fame's tentacles are hurting because Drop got a firm grip on him, right? Jeez, oh, man, get off his lap. This brother's delusional, not worried about a robot. Greg writes, I keep thinking back to the incident where a guy shot several cops in Dallas and they used a robot to kill the shooter so police can put lethal weapons on robots. They put a bomb on it or something like that. I think he was like barricaded or something like that. And they was like, man, you just killed police officers. We ain't waiting for you. So they put like a bomb or something on the robot and then walked the robot close to him and detonated the bomb. And I'm like, damn, Judge Dredd. Deshauna writes, a huge video recording the feet don't look like it can grip or grab. Okay. College Republicans tweeted Happy Kwanzaa, and Major Taylor Greene tweeted in response that it was a fake religion created by a psychopath, and people want to join the Republican Party for work. For what? Oh, she said that? Fake religion. I mean, some might argue, isn't all religion fake? I can see somebody making an argument, but I didn't tap into that story, but I'm somewhat aware of it. Kenneth writes, they better fix face recognition because right now it only recognize European faces and is not foolproof. Facebook face recognition be way off and matching me, family, and friends. It don't even look like me. LOL. I didn't even know that Facebook had Facebook recognition. I had no idea. A robot can malfunction. Yeah, they can definitely put some kind of like explosive device. I think that's what they did with the dude down in Dallas. Isn't that what they did? They put an explosive device on the robot, for lack of a better word, and then walked it up close to the dude because he was barricaded or something, and it was going to be difficult. They would have had to wait and talk to him, and they wasn't going to talk to him after he killed police officers. It was all about blood at that point, and they walked it up to the man and detonated it, and it killed him. Or maybe he was firing at people at that time, and he was like a real-time threat or something like that. I don't remember all of it. I must admit. Good morning to you. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Hello. Oh, they hung up. Irish writes, Boston Dynamics has been acquired by Hyundai. Is that right? DeAndre writes, it's basically a drone in 4 legs, armed to kill. And see, that's the other thing. You already got drones. Why do you need police dogs? And maybe it just gives them a different perspective, right? So the drone gives you an aerial view, and then people can like walk under structures or walk into buildings and you lose them. But if you got a robotic dog drone, it can climb upstairs and open doors and do all kind of stuff. So it's got more practical uses. Maybe that's what it is. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. The story of the year is still COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't gone nowhere. It's been since 2020. It's going to be the story of the year after year, as long as it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Because they still ain't solved that yet. It's wiping out professional teams who thought they could play through it.
I can't disagree, man. I think you're on point.
Well, thank you.
What's the story of the year locally, in your opinion?
Locally, for 2021, I don't know. I think that Democratic debacle, like that whole meeting they had when they was trying to do the endorsements. I guess we talking about locally, because that was a sight to see. I ain't never seen it like that before, where they were basically cutting each other, trying to get on the Democratic ticket.
You think that's the story of the year, huh?
Yeah, locally, yeah. I mean, locally, ain't too much really happened. I mean, we got like over 90 homicides. That's a record, I believe. So, I mean, you can go to that too. Perhaps the election too. I mean, we got a new mayor coming in after 8 years of stellar leadership by John Cranley. There was one hire that after that kind of raised my eyebrow, and that was the interim city manager, John Kirk.
Yeah, I've been reading about that the last day or so.
Yeah, he was the city manager under Mallory, and Mallory's on the transition stage, so I can see this administration starting off going in the direction of Mayor Mallory, which, hey, I'm not too thrilled about.
You're not too thrilled about it, huh?
Hell nah. Mark Mallory, those years under Mark Mallory were some of the worst years of city leadership that I ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, because
based on what?
Based on just one thing, the streetcar. That was it. That's the only thing. If you said Mark Mallory over the last 8 years, what did he do when he was the mayor? Streetcar. That's it. I can't think of it. There's nothing. I mean, if you could tell me something else he did over the 8 years other than streetcar, I'm happy to hear it.
No, you brought it up. That's your argument to make.
My argument that I've made is one thing. He's known for a streetcar. And now here we got AFTAP hiring his city solicitor back. I'm just like, this ain't looking good, bro. This ain't looking good at all. But I mean, locally, I mean, hey, it just seemed like 2021. A lot of stuff didn't jump off locally, other than homicides and elections.
Again, I'm
It
gonna
just,
go ahead and say this, man. I feel like you so against AFTAB that it really wouldn't matter what he did, that you was gonna have an issue with it. I kind of feel
nah,
that
nah.
way.
Look, AFTAB, look. I'm not anti-AFTAB.
Yes,
Don't
you
do
are.
that. I'm
Didn't the
looking
alt
at the
middle
movie
break up over
making.
AFTAB? You was for David Mann, allegedly, and Fame was for AFTAB. I mean, it broke up the
Yeah, I
alt
mean,
middle.
well, maybe that's the story of the year on your show. I don't know. The all middle breakup. Ain't no telling. Maybe
I'm
that's
just
the
saying.
story of the
So
year.
you was going hard against AFTAB, hard for David Mann. I just feel like no matter what his moves were, that you was gonna be against it.
Well, this is Exhibit A, just starting out. Look at the hiring John Kurt, bro, for interim. I mean, we're going back to the dark ages of city administration.
Somebody wants me to ask you, why did John Cranley fire Kerp as a solicitor in his administration?
I don't think he fired him. That didn't happen. I think John Kurt left. And usually, you know how this stuff goes. Like people, when they get elected, they want their own people around. So I mean, hey, that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, you can ask the same question: why did AFTAB fire Paula Box Music?
Well, I don't think she got fired. She seems like she's stepping down.
Exactly. That's my point. So to ask me about why he fired John Kurt, I mean, hey, did he get fired? I don't think so. I think this is the same thing that you see from every administration. They want their own people up in there.
Now, if you had said that Mark Mallory's administration had a black mark on it because of his opening day pitch, I'd have gave you some points for that. But not the streetcar.
Oh,
Streetcar
man.
is a great idea. Streetcar is a great idea. The only problem with the streetcar is that it doesn't go anywhere else. It just goes in a circle downtown.
Right. I mean, that's what he did. He built a choo-choo train around downtown.
Yeah, but people like you, once they built it, was like, nah, shut it down and don't expand it. People
Because we
like
ain't
your
got the
boy
money for it,
Schmitterman
bro.
was against the idea of expanding it because they didn't like the idea from the beginning.
Because we didn't have the money for it. We still ain't got the money for it. People who talk about expansion don't have the money for it.
If you want to make money, you got to spend money. Simple as that.
Yeah, well, if you ain't got the money to spend, I mean, then you're stuck.
We got money for
circle.
everything else. We could have found the money if we had the will. We could have found pots of money if we had the will. If we had the collective will, we could do it. We found money to pay for that stadium to help finance it from the proceeds from the hotel. So from the hotels here, we can find money when we want to do something.
Look, that stadium you call FC, that was probably built. The lenders threw all their money on that.
Oh, the city helped.
The county actually just built infrastructure, but he built infrastructure anyway. They always building roads and stairs and shit like that, but they ain't built the stadium though.
I'm just saying that when a city is serious about moving forward on a project, it gets done. Period. It gets done. So again, I'm not against the streetcar. People like you keep talking about it like it's some kind of drag. I think it was a great idea. The problem is it doesn't touch it needs to go to more neighborhoods, and then it'd be a fantastic idea.
If it went to all neighborhoods, that'd be one thing, but it goes in the circle. That's Mark Mallory's idea, bro. I mean,
that was the beginning. I mean, I'm not trying to defend Mark Mallory. I'm just saying that was the beginning, and then the critics, people like yourself, came in, and it just stalled it, and that's the reason why it's like it is now. We need to expand it. So what if AFTAB says, look, we built it, it's there. Why don't we expand the streetcar? You just said you agree with it. Would you agree with that if he comes out with that idea?
No, that's not what I said. I said that it'd be more useful if we expanded in more neighborhoods. Why be?
It would be more useful. That means it's a good idea.
It'd be more useful, but we ain't got the money to do it. That's the problem. I mean, as you see some of these bills that like other cities got, the bills are astronomical. Now, he got 8 Democrats down there. He can do whatever he want to do. So if he want to expand it, if it don't get expanded, you gonna hold that against him?
If that's what his plan was, like if he comes out and says, look, my plan is in these 4 years or 8 years is to expand it and it doesn't happen, yeah, I would hold it against him. But I don't know what his plan is about the streetcar yet.
Well, I'm hearing Democrats clamoring about expansion. So
they should.
We'll see if we'll see. I mean, Mark Mallory's, from my perspective, is in full control now.
Mark Mallory?
I mean, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. Look at the hires, bro. You know he's on the transition team.
I do know he's on the
Come on.
transition team. So what you
Right.
saying? Avtab's just a puppet for Mark Mallory now?
It's starting to look like that.
I don't
Based
believe
upon
it.
him bringing John Kirk in there, it's kind of looking like that, bro.
I don't believe it.
You'll believe it when you see it. If
I
he
will.
if he keep making these same moves that he's making, I'm like, man, this is Mark Mallory in the shadows, bro.
He's not in the shadows, man.
Just
Everybody
saying.
knows he's there.
Oh, okay. So, like, hey, if you everybody know he's there, well, I mean, yeah, he is in the shadows, but he's not even sitting in the chair anymore. So he's in the shadows, politically speaking.
Nah,
Yeah,
he's not in
there.
the shadows.
But
He's
I
just
mean,
standing right next to the throne. That's all. Everybody can
he's
see
sitting
him.
next to the song. I mean, he's hiring his people. I mean, I don't know, bro. But in terms of 2022, looking forward, the big case is going to be these trials coming up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be the big local story. You're right.
I mean, look, I met, you're a little older than me. You've seen a little more than me. Have you ever seen any public officials in Cincinnati put on trial in federal district court before?
No. It's going to be new. And I hate
Brand new.
seeing it.
Yeah, nobody wanted to see it, but here we are. So it's going to be a sight to see.
Anything else?
I
Have
hope
you heard
see
anything
the
else from
Alabama.
Jeff? I mean, is he going to cop a plea? Is he going to fight to the end? Any word on that?
Man, he going to trial, bro.
Okay.
He going to trial. He gonna roll the dice and see what happens.
Roll the dice and see what happens. Looking at a federal prison sentence, and he's got a bunch of young kids. I hope he gets off. I'll be honest with you. I hate to see it happen.
Well, we'll see. I mean, reality is all the information ain't out there yet. I think when people start seeing the trial, this is my perspective. Okay, I ain't got no inside information, but I think when people see what's going on in the trial, they're gonna really take a look at these developers and see how they operate, because the government's witnesses ain't on the up and up, bro. I can tell you that much.
The government witnesses. When you say not on the up and up, what you mean? Like they're lying, or they got their own agenda, or they're hiding something? What are you saying?
I mean, from my perspective, the way they do business ain't on the up and up. And see what my understanding is what they're trying to do as far as business goes. You know, it's going to come out. I'm not going to get too much into it. I can just tell you these. The government's witnesses got credibility problems.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, comrade, I'll holler at you.
Thanks for the call, man. It's Black Russia with his AvTab hate. You can hate anybody you want to, bro. I mean, you ain't got to like AvTab or anybody else. But you said the only reason is the streetcar Mark Mallory. I mean, he did a whole lot more than that. You just a one-issue voter. I mean, and again, I like the idea of the streetcar. We need a streetcar. We need a streetcar and a subway. And, you can't say that we don't. Anybody who says that we don't need a streetcar and a subway didn't pay attention to the reasons why Amazon didn't choose Cincinnati as their HQ. That was one of the reasons. It was a lack of mass transit. So if Cincinnati wants to be a big-time city that competes to be a place where people like Amazon turns it into one of their headquarters, then we're going to have to make the investment, period. Simple as that. A lot of people out there want to sell their homes, but you might be a bathroom or 2 bathrooms or an additional room short. Somebody tells you, if you only had another bathroom or another bedroom, you could double your money. You could get your money back plus some thousands of dollars. So what do a lot of people do? They add a bathroom to their home. It's an investment. And then they sell it at a profit. It's the same thing with the city. Anybody who says that Cincinnati doesn't need mass transit doesn't know what they're talking about. All you got to do is go back and look at why Amazon didn't choose Cincinnati for HQ. They put out a whole list of reasons. And one of them was the lack of mass transit. So what we going to do? Never become never take that step to become the city that we all want it to be because it's going to cost some money. We spend money on shit every day. Every single day. Every single year we spend money on shit all the time. It just goes back to what we was talking about, reimagining the police. We only got so much money is a finite amount of money. You know what I'm saying? That's why people were having that conversation about maybe we can get more out of our tax dollars. Nothing wrong with that conversation. Doesn't mean you're anti-police. It means you're pro living in a modern city. One of the reasons why Amazon did not choose Cincinnati as their headquarters, which would have been a big win for Cincinnati, was because of our lack of mass transit. So what are we going to do about that? Something needs to be done. I think it's an opportunity. So again, I like the idea of a streetcar. I wish it went up Reading Road and went to the west side and was much more useful and was much more of a tool. That'd be great. If the streetcar went from just the University of Cincinnati downtown, especially on Thursday through Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, it would be packed with UC students going down to the bars. It'd be packed. They'd be going back and forth. People would choose to do that in some cases rather than taking an Uber. It might be cheaper. It would be packed. SantaCon. Anybody know about SantaCon? Man, it would be packed. It is packed during SantaCon. So no, I don't hold that against Mark Mallory. I thought it was a fabulous idea. I still think it was, despite the cost. It's just that it got politicized, just like in that movie Don't Look Up. It got politicized. People start, oh, man, I can run on this. Oh, yeah, I'm going to run against this or run for this. This is a colossal waste. Look at the money they're spending. So what's your idea to grow Cincinnati? I have no ideas. I mean, it's going to take some money. It is what it is. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. This is Deborah Nesbitt, the voice of reason. How
Good
you
morning,
doing?
Deborah. I'm doing well. Good morning.
Man, I don't know. I said all this in the comments, but the whole streetcar thing was a horrible idea. The streetcar projects all over the country, like they started, shopping these streetcar projects to different cities. And basically, it just plants the flag for white supremacy and gentrification. Like, there were people wanted to move back into the downtown areas because gas prices were high. People were tired of traffic and commuting from the suburbs. And if you can see all of this, what happened in Cincinnati, everybody moved back downtown. They moved all back downtown, took over. They're building stadiums everywhere. All those streets that used to be, tore down from the floor down. You could never get them to invest while they're black neighborhoods. Now they have fancy shops and fancy restaurants. I mean, and the streetcar was just a part of that. Like, we're building the streetcar. It's safe for you people. You can come back down here and you can be in Cincinnati and you will make sure you're okay. And that's all. And there's no streetcar project in America, not a single one of them, that funds itself. They always build it as eventually the ridership and everything will take care of itself and you can expand your streetcar line. And that's the story that they tell, but it's never meant to be that way. That's never the end goal. The end goal is just to have it as this cute little thing. It always goes through the bar neighborhoods like ours does. It goes through Main Street. It goes down to the Freedom Center. I think that's as far as it goes, and comes back around everywhere that you can buy beer or get liquor. That's where the streetcar goes. And then that's it. So it's basically a park and ride for bar crawls. That's all it is. Or for people who are already living down there because they've moved back down there now. So then they don't have to worry about DUIs or tickets or anything. They can just get on the streetcar, go get drunk, and go back home. Take your Uber, take your Lyft, take the streetcar. That's it. So that's all that was ever meant for. It was never going to go to the zoo. It was never going to go to UC. It was never going to do any of that. It was just one big lie. They lie to us all the time. And I don't know. That's just the way it is. Not just here, everywhere. You were talking earlier about that image of George Floyd. Like, all of these things have everything on race. Everything in America has to do with race. Like the whole streetcar thing and white supremacy and gentrification. Like, nobody stopped shooting black people. We had the George Floyd protest. And it was like one moment of saying this one murder was so egregious that that a lot of people, or not all of us, because a lot of people still don't agree, but so many people are going to say this is just ridiculous, and we're all going to get together and protest this one murder. But it hasn't stopped the killing of Black people. Certainly hasn't stopped the killing of unarmed Black men for any reason, and it's not meant to. And so the thing about critical race theory and the whole, portrait of the Madonna is it's just people reacting to what they don't know. Like, there have been bronze Madonnas and pictures of the original Madonnas were bronze. They were cast in bronze. The original images of Jesus were cast in bronze. And so now, everybody wants to believe in white Jesus, but I always go back to Jesus is Black and Mitch McConnell is the devil and the government is lying to you about coronavirus. Like, just, I don't know. Mask up, get vaccinated, do whatever you can to stay safe. Do your social distancing, don't have large gatherings, don't go to large gatherings, and mitigate your risk. Like, at this point, that's the best you can do. Like, I took my kids to see the Spider-Man movie. We had a small birthday party, but I kept them isolated in the mall. And then we sat in our own row and I had everybody mask up. I didn't allow them to eat in the theater. They were only able to eat outside the theater. This is what you have, you just have to mitigate your risk. We didn't have family over for Christmas this year. It was just our immediate family, but we're all vaccinated. It's me, my mom, my daughter, and our 2 little kids. That's it. So that's all. You have to just, everywhere I go, nobody's wearing masks. The further I go out, into the suburbs, there's really no mask. I have certain places I won't traverse, which were normally places in Cincinnati I wouldn't traverse anyway. But some places I've cut completely off my list because I know nobody's going to be wearing masks. You're going to get the side eye. People are looking at you like, why are you wearing a mask? I love the neighborhoods where you go where people aren't wearing a mask and people are looking at them like, why aren't you masking up? So that's where I tend to live. But it's all just part and parcel to me of a white supremacist outlook that says, and then you see a lot of this on Twitter too, where people are talking about being pure again, this whole idea of purity, that they don't need the vaccine because their bodies are pure, because their children are pure. This whole blood purity thing is back. It's back in spades. They just want to believe that they are so divine and wonderful and immune that they don't need the vaccine. They don't need the mask because they are, the perfect people, which is insane. And they're dying for this belief. And they will watch their families die, and they will watch their children die. They will watch it over coronavirus. They will watch it over guns, and they will not care. They will still continue to believe in their own personal prosperity and divinity because that's what they need to believe. So that's my sermon for today. Stay safe, people.
Thank you.
And see you out here on the internet.
All right, Bishop Deborah Nesbitt. Wear her sermon. I appreciate her. I feel her analysis in terms of how she looked at streetcar, but I stand by what I said. If not a streetcar, then a subway. What is our mass transit plan? And if you go back a few years, the world was a little bit different. The world was a little bit different. We started having this conversation about mass transit. We had the Obama administration. It was giving money. And, I think we deserve better. We deserve better. That is my time, family. I really appreciate you. I plan to be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Here's my disclaimer for the disclaimer people who need these such things. I appreciate you for being here. Please like and share today's show. It means everything. When you share the show, more people see it. I'll be back with you and plan to be back with you every day this week, all the way up until New Year's Eve. I mean, that's the 31st. I see no reason why we can't do a live show. So I'll be with you all week long. And then we'll get ready for the new year. Who knows what the new year might bring? All right. Keep your eyes on what we're doing here at CDM and beyond. And keep your eyes on the Nathan Ivey Show. Thank you so much. It's going to be a long goodbye to 2021. And tomorrow I'll talk more about looking back at news stories and spend more time probably on that. But have an excellent rest of your Tuesday. All right. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Stay focused and stay winning. And we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like